Greetings, guys, and welcome to yet another edition of the Papi Show. This is Papi TBC live broadcast number 18. We are sorry we have not been on air for a few while now, um, but we must continue. Like I said, the month of October, we have to be on our toes. Remember, November is around the corners. That is exactly when the TBC community is on high gear, is on top gear. And so we have to prepare our listeners, we have to prepare our audience, we have to prepare TBCians. We even have to prepare new members to get along. That's exactly why we keep coming over and on again. For a short while we have been talking, struggling to digest, analyze the public message, public announcement of the admin, and we shall continue with that. Our intention is that we try as much as possible to go through it today. If not, this is going to be the last but one show which we are going to spend talking about that, because there are lots and lots of things to talk about TBC, especially as we are drawing near the period for redemption, especially as days go by. Our experience in the community keeps growing, and it is worthwhile to bring across these experiences to you all, because you deserve the community. For those who are still doubting Thomases, they can join the bandwagon and we move on. And for those who are already there, they will be able to get themselves continuously aligned to the system, because the success and growth in the community. So today we are going straight to the point. We do not have any, we don't want to waste time with the quote of the day. We don't want to waste time with an outline. The only thing we are doing today is trying to break down this message, this announcement to the end, this public announcement. And permit me share my screen with you. Permit me share my screen with you so that we journey together and use the shortest time possible to achieve our goal for today. Like I said, we are continuing with this this message, the message of the admin. We would like to begin here on page 4. Um, we'll begin from page 4 here. The first bullet on page 4. You can see it is very clear. Let me enlarge it a bit. No, that's a little too much. Okay, we begin from here. As a private society, the Kringle Private Society has full authority to create its own form of governance, law form, court, and private treasury. That is very clear. As a private society, it should do that. These will be established to better serve and protect the interest of our members, and will be available to every member for the settlement of disputes and other such basic principles of a balanced society of men, women, and children. It will take time to properly fulfill these requirements, and all members will be kept informed as to the progress thereof. We request the understanding and patience of our members in this process. That is very clear. The admin is saying that being a private society, there is it is our right to create to have a form of governance, to have a court, where two or three are gathered, where two or three interact, especially when it concerns in currency. There is bound to be differences. Some people will not toe the line, so there is room for a court. But this court, of course, every court is based on a form of law and a form of governance. And of course, when we talk about currency, there must be a private treasury. That is exactly the goal of the admin. As we plan to get to hit the 1 billion mark latest 2020, these must be put in place. And the admin is assuring us that in the days ahead, they're going to work on these to make sure that they are in place. But he has asked that we be patient enough while they work this out. These are not things which will be realized in a day. So they are getting to work already. We need to keep our fingers crossed while waiting for them to have this platform on which we can easily operate and interact among ourselves. He goes on to say, our purpose and mission include the education of our members so that they grow into properly formed and intelligent members of the private society and the large world society of our respective countries and the world as a whole. This statement is pregnant with meaning. In the months to come, we shall be implementing tools for such education so that our members can be successful with TBC and Kringle and understand how to use it for the benefit and the mutual benefit of all our members. Yes, education is at the root of this all. Whenever TBC leaders speak, they keep insisting on education. A very serious aspect of the Kringle Cash back office is the part of that office, back office, which is called education. And on that part, that's exactly where the admin puts the daily updates. Every day there is something for the day to keep the TBC member abreast so that we are not just talking TBC in the air. You know, some people talk TBC, they don't know what it is all about, they don't know the meaning of Kringles, they don't know, that education is not there. So the admin is saying the purpose of this, one of the purpose of this public announcement is to ensure that they indicate to members that there will be a platform better than what we already have on the back office to properly educate the members. Because remember, we say knowledge is power, and knowledge comes from education. When we're educated, when we learn, we know, and where we know, we are powerful. And so TBCians must be able to know what is happening in their community. Citizens must be able to know the dynamics of the society, and we must be able to apply themselves accordingly. So I must say that this is very commendable. And the admin is saying that in the months ahead, all the tools necessary for the education of our members will be put in place so that everyone has a basic understanding of how the TBC and Kringle operates, benefit from them, and then also work hard for the mutual benefit of the rest of the members. I find this so interesting. And here I feel very obliged to share my experience. A few days ago, I walked into the TBC office in Nairobi, the TBC office in Nairobi, where I met an old man. In fact, this old man, this mzee whom I met, was, if he was too young, he should be 70 years of age. He was even having a crutch in his hand. He sat there and he was asking the people in the office, the TBC leader, there is something I hear that if you bring a new member, they call it referral what, and then you're going to get 10,000 cookies. I don't what, how much is that? What is that equivalent to? The mere fact that I met this old man of his age, interested in TBC, asking this question, it caught my attention. And then I said to myself, in pity, oh, if the old who are already closest to the grave are still looking for a means to get these opportunities, what about we, the young people? The young people, you mention to whoever, they say, it's a scam. They just throw it away and they end there. But you see, this your old man is interested author develops 10 points to explain how TBC is a scam. When I read through that, I laughed and I said, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing more dangerous like um, ignorance, conscientious ignorance. In a couple of days to come, I will make an analysis of that quote, of that post, that blog post. I'll put that blog post, will expose it here. We'll go through it point by point, and then we See how the author of that blog post expresses his ignorance and naivety with respect to the basic knowledge of TBC. So that TBCians and even those out there who are still scared about getting along should know that these are the stakes, and this is what the admin is saying. Within such education, some of the terms and points contained in this announcement and in future modified so that we proceed forward with a well-educated body politic of competent and educated people that are here in association to benefit ourselves, the communities and nations in which we live and work, and the world as a whole. Of course, that is exactly the importance of education. That is exactly the importance of education. The admin goes on to say, the only value that TBC and Kringle carry is that of the mutual benefit confidence of our private members. Mutual benefit confidence. We hold the value of every human being on this planet to be our highest order pursuant to our privately held benefits and conscience. All our members comprise the collective value of our society. As an ecclesia, defined as the body of the congregation, that is the living body of our congregation together. Yes. Remember, among the send button questions, in the 10 questions that form the send button test, these points comes out very clearly. The value of TBC is hinged on the members of this private society. The members of this private society. And that's exactly why we say the more the numbers increase, the more value the Kringles, the TBC gains. The more value it gains. And this is what the admin is saying here in very clear terms. Every human person is very important. But this human person, which is so important as an individual, is even more important and much more valuable in a body. When it belongs to a body, he has used a technical term here, ecclesia. Ecclesia is a Greek word, which when you talk about ecclesia, and Latin, it has a Latin origin too. Whenever you talk about ecclesia, we talk about a body in a congregation. In fact, it has been referred to down the ages as the church, in which every individual member counts. But the force of that whole body that we call body is the fact that these individual members bring their values and their importance in together to form a body. That kind of body, which is so powerful, yet it is made up of several members, several parts, and each part is unique. It is that kind of an idea that gives value to the TBC, to our currency. The admin has explained that very clearly. He goes on to say that we are a, what is he saying here? The admin goes on to say that we are a non-denominational and non-hierarchical body of living beings. This is the definition of a body politic. Thus, we consider our society to be an ecclesiastical body politic, immune from the public, commercial, and corporate jurisdictional authorities of constituted national bodies politic. Aye, those are very serious words with powerful meanings. We do not ascribe to any given religion, path, or other denomination of belief or creed, while at the same time we support all of our members in the pursuit of their own right of self-determination to uphold individual beliefs and modes of living. You see, modes of living through private and personal conscience. The admin is saying here very clearly that although we are a body, a private society, we are non-denominational. We do not sing a particular creed, we do not go by a particular creed as such. And we do not interfere with any other person's, desire to belong somewhere. The fact that you are here does not mean that you cannot belong somewhere. But let your belonging somewhere not interfere with the dynamics of our own little body politic. And you see, we are not constrained by any religion, by any belief systems or creed, but we support our members for their own right to self-determination. The only exclusion to this principle is against those who would use our society to promote violence or harm to others. That is very clear. Our society is here, do whatever you want. But if you use this society to promote violence or harm others, then you'll be in problems. Remember, above we have said that this society is working for the peace of the nations, peace and harmony of the nations. That is the whole idea about it. When the nations are harmonized, they will speak a common language, and then there will be harmony, and then there will be no wars, no conflicts, no strife. So he says that no, this our society do not take our values to promote violence or harm others. This includes an absolute forbiddance of any illicit use of our private medium of exchange in any manner to take advantage of another or to transgress the domestic laws of the nations in which one lives. Do not say that TBC, you begin to use TBC to impose into the things which are happening in your country dynamics. Please operate by them. Do not take TBC to interfere with them. That's what they are saying. We are here to promote peace, exactly. Prosperity for all human beings and all living things in the world. We do not promote strife. Now we're on page 5, and we say that the Kringle Society has been established in conformity and in alignment with the Pantera Doro Private Society. Pantera Doro, the Oro Private Society. All records of the Kringle Private Society are secured and held in the private permanent archival system of records of the Pantera Doro Society Court of the Ecclesia. That we're talking about security. We are assuring ourselves about the security. We are in full alignment with the globally published declaration of intention of the Pantera Doro Private Society and formally adopt the principles contained therein. As a member of the Pantera Doro Private Society, we are aligned with and included therein to the formal announcements to all world administrative bodies and the offer of treaty of peace and cessation of hostilities presented to the Holy See via the nuncio of Washington Direct District of Columbia. I like this. Guys, when you read things like this, you begin to see that we are not joking here. You begin to see that it's not a concoction of a few people. The admin is situating where we belong, how we operate. This Pantera Doro society is that which our society is aligned to, and because our society is aligned to it, our records are all in the archival system. But over and above that, he says, as a member, because we are affiliated to it, this Pantera Doro society, we are also aligned, and we are aligned with and included therein to the formal announcement to the world administrative bodies and the offer of treaty of peace and cessation of hostilities, which is presented to the Holy See. You remember the Holy See is the Vatican. So we are aligned to those terms of peace, the treaty of peace, cessation of hostilities, which have been promoted and presented to the Holy See through the Apostolic Nuncio to Washington, D.C. The Apostolic Nuncio of Washington, D.C. has presented this peace treaty, and it is signed in accord with the Vatican State. So it's not just something that we're just concocting. We have said previously on the previous speech that we aim, because we are aligned to these societies, to promote peace and harmony of all nations. And of course, that's exactly what the church works for. I remember the effort. Thank God, today, the 11th of October, when I hear about treaty of peace I hear about, the Holy See, I immediately think of one great figure of the Holy See. We used to refer to him, his names are Angelo Giuseppe Roncalli, the one who was called the Good Pope, that is John the 23rd, Pope John the 23rd, who came up in the 1950s, the period of the Cold War. John the 23rd, walking through the Holy See, showing the interest of the church in establishment of peace, wrote his powerful document, Pacem in Terris. In that document, Pacem in Terris is the Latin for peace on earth. It not say peace for the Cold War, it's peace on earth. That document spells out the values of the church and her effort to promote peace. And so, if we're talking about peace, the very first body that we think about peace and harmony in the world is the Holy See, the Catholic Church. And we are seeing very clearly here that TBC is affiliated to the Pantera Doro Society, which is aligned to a treaty of peace signed and presented to the Holy See by the Apostolic Nuncio to Washington, D.C. in the US of A. Like this, we can keep talking about this till tomorrow, furnishing facts and details so that we know that we do not operate from space. Admin goes on to say we are at peace with all public entities and institutions worldwide, neutral in the public, and proceeding in peaceful harmony and comity with all agencies, departments, and authorities of any and all public entities of national character. Henceforth, all public communications shall be under the seal of the Kringle Private Society and the international flag of peace. Henceforth, that is who we are. Peace is our name. We go by peace. We move by peace. We are moved by it. And those are the seals of any public communication. So if you see any public communication without a seal of Kringle Private Society and International Flag of Peace, then it does not come from the TBC. Thank you, admin, for making these things clear. Now we are going to sort out the real scam